It was nearly 7 a.m. when Omar tightened the laces on his worn-out work boots, kissed his sleepy daughter on the forehead, and headed out the door with his lunch packed in a reused grocery bag. The streets of Chicago were still yawning awake under a soft orange dawn as Omar pushed his old cleaning cart down the quiet corridor of Pinnacle Tower, a shimmering skyscraper of glass and steel that housed some of the most powerful companies in America. To most people in the building, he was invisible. Just the janitor. Quiet. Polite. Efficient. Always mopping the floor, wiping smudged glass, emptying trash bins. But what no one knew, not the security guards, not the assistants, not the executives who barely made eye contact, was that Omar had once been a university professor. In Syria. War had stolen everything from him, his home, his job, his family. Only his daughter Layla had survived the journey with him to the U.S. They'd arrived with little more than a suitcase, some crumpled photos, and the scars of loss. With a degree that didn't translate, credentials that meant nothing here, and a mouth to feed, Omar took the first job he could get, cleaning offices. He didn't complain. He worked hard. He taught Layla English at night, Arabic in the morning, and life lessons all the time. That Tuesday morning started like any other, Omar sweeping near the top floor of the 57-story building, the executive level of a powerful tech corporation called Veridian International. Inside the boardroom, behind frosted glass, a heated discussion was underway. Omar didn't eavesdrop. He kept working. Until a voice called out sharply from behind. "Hey! Janitor! Do you mind not making so much noise with that thing? We're in the middle of something." Omar turned, startled but not upset. He nodded politely and wheeled his cart a few feet away, muttering softly, "Sorry, sir." He went back to wiping the glass panels by the elevators. Just as he turned to leave, he heard something strange, laughter and mocking tones. He glanced toward the boardroom where the door had been left ajar. Inside, a large screen displayed an international video call. A group of Arab investors was speaking, but no one in the boardroom seemed to understand them. The executives were flustered. One man in a navy suit joked in a whisper, "It's just noise. Sounds like they're bargaining over goats or something." Laughter erupted around the table. Omar froze. Something twisted in his chest, not just anger, but sorrow. The language they mocked was his own. His mother tongue. The words they sneered at were formal Arabic, polite, sophisticated, filled with questions about Veridian's ethics, sustainability policies, and whether they honored their labor contracts abroad. Omar's eyes welled with frustration. These men didn't even know they were being questioned about fairness and integrity. And they were laughing. He hesitated, then turned back. The door creaked as he stepped inside the boardroom. A few heads turned. Some looked annoyed. One man snapped, "Sir, this is a private meeting." Omar raised a hand gently. "I'm sorry, but I couldn't help overhearing. I speak Arabic. I think you should know what they're saying." The room went silent. The CEO, a stern-looking woman in her 50s named Evelyn Carter, raised an eyebrow. "You speak Arabic?" "Yes, ma'am. I was a professor of linguistics in Damascus. What your guests are saying, it's important." Evelyn leaned forward. "What are they saying?" Omar took a breath. Then, in perfect English, he translated the dialogue. Line by line. With nuance. With tone. With respect. As he spoke, the laughter in the room faded into shame. The mocking smirks vanished. The Arab investors on the screen noticed the shift in the Americans' posture. Then Omar switched languages, turning toward the screen and addressing the investors directly in Arabic. His voice was calm, authoritative, and kind. He apologized on behalf of the team for the misunderstanding. He assured them their concerns were valid and deserved thoughtful answers. He promised that if they gave Veridian a chance to respond properly, it would be worth their time. There was a pause. Then one of the men on screen smiled. Finally, he said in Arabic, "Someone who hears us." They agreed to reconvene in 2 days, with translators. Omar stepped back, unsure if he had overstepped. "I'm sorry if I interrupted. I just felt I had to say something." Evelyn stood. The room was still stunned. "No," she said softly. "You just saved this meeting, and possibly our partnership." She looked around the room. "I think we all owe Mr. Omar an apology, and a thank you." A week later, Omar was called back to the boardroom, but not to clean. He'd been invited to lunch. Evelyn greeted him with a handshake. "You opened our eyes," she said. "Not just to a language, but to a blind spot in how we see people. We judged you because of your job title. Because of your uniform. But today, I want to offer you something more." Omar was stunned as Evelyn handed him an offer letter: cultural liaison and language consultant. Full benefits. A private office. A salary that would allow him to finally move Layla out of their tiny apartment and into a safe neighborhood with good schools. He blinked back tears. "I don't know what to say." "Say you'll accept," Evelyn smiled. "We need you." That night, Omar took Layla to their favorite diner and ordered her a big plate of fries and chicken tenders. She looked up at him, confused. "Papa, why are we celebrating?" He smiled and brushed a curl from her forehead. "Because today, someone finally saw me." She tilted her head. "I always see you." He hugged her tightly. And in that moment, beneath the flickering neon lights, between ketchup-stained napkins and the scent of hot food, a quiet man who once scrubbed floors in silence realized that being unseen doesn't mean being unworthy. Because kindness, knowledge, and dignity speak louder than any boardroom title. And sometimes, the most powerful voice in the room comes from the man sweeping just outside the door.